I'm going to have to use my phone because I've got. Let's see if I can make it happen.
All right, let's see. According to Facebook, we should be live.
Mm-hmm. I can check. I think we are.
Hey guys, it is Evan Summers. I am here, of course, with my lovely wife, Jennifer, which is a rare treat. We don't often get to have Jennifer on our Zoom calls and our Facebook Lives these days. So it's nice when Jennifer is able to join us. This is our exclusive convention diamond panel. I am so fortunate. We are so fortunate that we have a group on Facebook that is this size, that's this powerful. And it's because of you, the almost 12,000 of you in this group, it's because of you that I'm able to reach out to leaders of this magnitude and say, hey, would you like to be a part of a diamond panel on Facebook? And they immediately jump up and say yes. Like, it took less than 12 hours to put this group together, and I was in awe of the fact that everybody said yes. So a little bit of info, just some quick ground rules. First of all, if you're watching on replay and you have a question, please hashtag replay and then ask your question. And if you'd like, you can tag any one of us in your question so we can see it and be able to respond to you. If you're watching live and you have a question, it takes about 8 to 12 seconds for us to see the question and be able to respond to it. And we will try to go through and answer as many of your questions as we possibly can during this event. Quick introductions for everybody. Of course, you see my lovely wife as well. So Jennifer, say hello.
Hi.
Because I tend to overspeak. Our good friend, Brooke Vreeman, is here. She is touted as one of the millennial leaders. She is a diamond leader in doTERRA and a good friend of ours. We also have Lisa Zimmer. How could we not have Lisa Zimmer, one of the most powerful diamond leaders in doTERRA in regards to the tools that she provides for so many of us that we all have come to know and love. Neal Anderson, the founder of Starfish, probably one of the most impactful trainings over the last couple of years that have come out for doTERRA. I remember, honestly, one of the first things I heard from my upline was, you've got to go through and check out Starfish. You've got to read the book. You've got to be a part of that community. So I reached out to Neal and asked him to join us. And then until we started this group this year, I had no idea who Rachael Carter was. And that doesn't come as a surprise to Rachael, because I told her that. But honestly, I reached out to Rachael to join us because there was not a single event post on our entire Facebook group that had more interaction from you guys than the one that announced Rachael's pre-convention training. So with that kind of a following and that kind of an audience, I had to reach out to Rachael. So that's my introduction for each of them. Let's go through the same order, and I want you guys to just a quick, 1 minute, 2 minutes about yourselves for the people who don't know you. So let's go with the same order. We'll start with Brooke.
Hi guys, I'm excited to be here. I am one of the younger builders in the business, and I love that the builders are getting younger and younger, and I wish I would have started at a younger age. I went diamond at 25 and have an incredible team that I love to work with. My upline is my mom and dad. They are presidential diamonds, so it is a family affair. And I actually started with oils because my brother-in-law is Dr. Josh Axe, and Dr. Chelsea Axe is my older sister. So my family is all in the natural health field. I'm so proud to be a part of the family. I love that I get to use these oils and help change people's lives with them. And I love that I got to be a part of this panel because I think convention is such a game changer, whether you just use oils or whether you're in the business. So I'm excited to be here.
I don't want to follow Brooke. Now I'm starstruck and I'm old.
No.
I got nothing. I'm Lisa Zimmer and I'm just normal and I don't know anybody famous and I'm old. So I'm not gonna tell you how old. But oils make me look younger than I did before oils. So I'm a doTERRA diamonds. I hit diamonds in 21 months and just did it all belly to belly and enrolled 400 people and met every single person and just had a good time and loved doTERRA. Loved how it changed my life. I'd been sick for 3 years. I was actually disabled with brain damage and wasn't able to work, and doTERRA gave me my life back. And so you couldn't get me to not talk about doTERRA. So that's pretty much how we built our business, was just told anyone and everyone about doTERRA to try to help them to keep from having anything like that happen to them, and to just help everybody we know and love. And that's how we got here today.
Neal?
Oh, okay, my turn. Well, thanks for putting this together. And I remember my first convention when my wife said, like, we're going to convention, and we didn't really know what to expect. So it's awesome that you have this group where people can kind of learn some of the things. I think maybe some people have this anxious anticipation if it's your first time, and let you know that it's going to be awesome. It's a great ride. But all the material that's been provided up until this point is kind of amazing. And so, thanks, Evan and Jennifer, for helping really prepare people for something that they're making an investment in, and it's really going to be an amazing time. So my wife and I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're praying that the storm keeps going a little bit south, but that's we're our mind's on it a little bit. One of the things you can't do is have something just change your whole focus, because you can only control what you can control. I told Evan, I'll be on the call. Like, it's not doing anything yet, so we'll be good. We were able to enroll back in 2009. There were no people in North Carolina. I asked Dave Sterling if we could be a founder because of that. He said absolutely not. But it's been really cool to see the changes. Part of me wants to say, well, remember back when, but we also realized that that's not how you grow. And it's nice that there's so many resources, that there's people that have a passion for what we're doing in different ways, that we have younger leaders. I mean, I can't even say on this Facebook Live what I was doing at 25, Brooke. So, that's just amazing that people are able to be able to create that. And hopefully tonight we can give people a couple tips that really start that process into everybody that's listening to be able to get where they want to go. And thanks, Evan, for putting this together. This is cool.
Thank you. All right, Rachel.
Well, I'm thankful that you asked me to be here again. I really enjoyed meeting with your group. I guess it was last week we got together. That was a lot of fun, really getting to know the people on the page. And we enrolled with doTERRA in 2014. And I had been in the fashion industry as a professional model for 28 years, I think, at the time. No, that's about 26 years. And really was looking for a way that I could segue out of that I could dabble in it when I wanted to, but it wouldn't be my full-time profession. And when I saw the comp plan, I recognized how that was very similar to getting paid when you do television commercial work. You're getting paid residuals, and those are really good. Really was excited about that opportunity, and I loved the oils. We jumped right in, and from that point on, I really started segueing into my passion for oils, which is oils of the Bible. And so we are teaching a pre-convention training on our oils of the Bible classes. And I'm really excited about that, really excited to get to know and get to meet a lot of new people there.
Thanks, Rachel. And apparently you scared Neal away. So because I have a tendency as an improv performer, I think quick and I tend to railroad Jennifer. So because I do not want to railroad my beautiful wife, Jen, why don't you, for the people who don't know us, why don't you take the 1 to 2 minutes and introduce us to everybody, because I don't want to railroad you on every step of the way.
Well, he's much better at improv than I am. We, as you know, we really love Doterra, and this is something that we started a couple of years ago. We started this group. We never dreamed that it would be the huge group that it is, and we've reached so many people from all over the world. And this is just something we wanted to do as a labor of love, just to kind of give people hints, tips, make them not feel so scared about going to convention the first time. There's a lot of first timers, so people are kind of scared and, stressed out, not knowing, what they're going to be doing. So we've tried to ease that by giving them great information, kind of giving them a big virtual hug, and letting them know that this is one of the best things that they could possibly do for their business. So we're just going to continue doing that. We've gotten such a great response from everybody, and going to keep doing what we're doing as long as we can.
And there are leaders that we talk to that laugh at us, because this is not something that's making us any money. A group like this with this kind of outreach is nothing that actually drives our business, because all of you are already enrolled. This isn't a way for us to enroll new people. But this is a way for us to foster these amazing, deep-rooted relationships that, honestly, I feel comfortable, and Jennifer feels comfortable, if for any reason we run into a situation where we need some upline diamond level support, we have a plethora of people that we can reach out to and say, hey, I can't reach my upline. What do we do in this situation? And that's part of what's rewarding. And then the messages that we get from people who, I can't even tell you how many people are going to reach out to us after convention that realize that all of the hints and tips that we've given them to eat their anxiety has come true, and they felt better. So let's start with the most basic of questions. And I'm going to throw this at first to you, Neal, because you and I have had this conversation. Why convention?
Because we get out of town from a hurricane and not raining there in Salt Lake. Well, I think the question before that is where people are, because it's not for everybody. I think it's great for people to go, whether you're a product user, whether you're a builder, but you have to make the decision to go. You can make it like a girls trip. I mean, whatever it is, right? Because it's just really cool information. It's not a pep rally. I don't think there's, like, maybe the motivational thing is about as close as it gets. I think in the past they've had some leaders that talked a teeny little business. But I think if I were going to say three of them, number one is that by going, you get sort of a good brainwashing, because we all need to wash away a lot of the things that are going in our heads. So we make the commitment to go, and there's something that happens with inertia and with momentum and just doing that. It's amazing that convention actually starts when you get in the car to go to the airport. That's session one. A lot of people don't realize that. I think the other thing why convention is because you have the ability to go see people, to build confidence, not only in your education on how to use the products, but I'm telling you, you're going to get there and you're going to see people go, holy cow, they did that. Like, they're that rank, or they're that, and it's not as a comparison thing. It's more of, there's other people doing this. It's not me sitting in my home office, or doing my workshop or doing my one-on-one. Like, there's thousands of people that are doing this, and I'm not alone. And I think that's something that we can feel. And I think number three is building relationships. We do an exercise where it's called, I'm not doing Doterra to do Doterra, I'm doing Doterra to, and you fill in the blank, right? And that's one of those things that helps build an emotional purpose for doing it. And I think when you run into people that you may have gone to high school with and you didn't know it, they lived in your hometown, they believe the way you do, whatever it is, you're going to run into long-lasting friends. We have them. And then you go on incentive trips, and then you you go to, visit them, drive across, a couple states to go, have your families get together. And that's what carries you through when it gets tough. And the more relationships that you have, and strong ones, not just with your team, but with other people that are doing this, it makes it a lot more of an enriched environment for you. And I think, it kind of starts there, because then, you go to leadership, and then you go, on an incentive trip. And it's been really, really, really cool. I think this is my 6th one, and all of them have been different, which is really cool. So anyway, that's kind of why I would say convention. And at this point, because you made the commitment, you're going, so you're going. There you go.
Anybody want to add to that? Or have a different thought on that? Yes, Lisa.
Someone told me at our first convention, we were, I think we'd been gold 6 months. In our very first convention, we were terrified because we didn't really know any of our uplines. We didn't know anybody, and nobody on our team could go with us. So we were just kind of completely freaked out, and got to be friends with everyone we sat with each day. And someone said to us, if you go to convention, by the next convention, you'll add 100 people to your team. We didn't really know any of our upline. Oops, I'm getting feedback from someone.
No, you're good. Neal joined live. Neal joined on Facebook like I did earlier, and it automatically feeds back. You're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I don't know what I was trying to reply to a message that somebody, a question somebody had. Sorry.
That's okay. And so they said, if you come to convention, you'll probably add 100 people to your team by next convention. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm so excited, because I think we had, I'm not exactly sure, my husband would have to look it up, but say 300-400 people on our team. And by next convention, we walked Diamond. So it was pretty exciting. Convention is so motivating, because you're going to learn little nuggets from every single person that you talk to. And so that's why it's so important to, of course, bond with your team, but work really hard to make friends not on your team, because that's honestly what got us to where we are in many areas of our business, was those little nuggets and the inspirational stories from the people that just sat in the chairs next to you that you didn't even know.
So I want to take that same theory, because you and Neal both hit on a social aspect of convention in talking to the people you meet, in whether they're sitting with you, or they're in line, or they're at a training event. How about for the introvert that comes to convention? How about for the person who feels more so? I wasn't looking at you, Brooke, but I knew your hand was going up. How about for the person who feels socially awkward, who's introverted, who's not always adept at striking a conversation with a total stranger, and is already overwhelmed at 35,000 people being in the same square mile as them?
Yeah, so I'm an introvert. I'm extremely introverted, like 80 to 90%. And that's after being in Doterra for a few years. So I was even more so introverted, because Doterra forces you to step out of your comfort zone. So what I do is, you have to get uncomfortable. We always talk about, if you want to grow your business, if you want to grow as a person, personal development, you do. So you do have to strike up those conversations and step out of your comfort zone and get uncomfortable, and kind of push yourself. You do have to do that. But what I would say too is, make sure that you're giving yourself what you need. Sometimes on the lunch break, I'll go to the hotel room for 15 minutes and I'll sit by myself to recharge. I'm an introvert. I need that 15 minutes, right? Or before going to the concert or the party, I'll go take a shower. I'll just alone, quiet, me. Make sure you do block in that time for you, so that you don't run to empty. Also, there's going to be a lot going on. So you are going to have to push yourself. You are going to be tired. You're going to have these things. It's like 4 days. You can do it, but make sure that if you do have 20 minutes, that you need to just go and recharge and reboot and just be alone, so that way you can go back out there and be full and not feel like you're running on empty, and not feel like overwhelmed. If you need that time, allow yourself that time. I think that's important, to not just reach empty on the gas tank and then just keep going and then crash and burn, right? We have to take care of ourselves. So if you do have those needs, being an introvert like me, just make sure you're doing those things. But everyone is so nice. It's like when you're an introvert, you just, it's uncomfortable and whatnot. But I've never met someone who was rude or who I didn't just strike up a small conversation and get into something in depth and get something out of it that was so worth it. Every conversation, every person you meet, whether you're just standing in line or anything, they have such great insight and ideas and perspectives. So when you don't have those conversations, you can be missing out on something that's really worth it. So just keep that in mind too. You get to decide what you want to get out of convention. So being an introvert, you have a lot of opportunities, and I just encourage you to take them and get uncomfortable and give yourself those 15 minutes if you need them, and enjoy it, because it is a great time and I enjoy it, and you will grow in it and become more extroverted as you get going.
Thank you, Brooke. All right, Jen, your hand went up. So how do you handle it? First of all, being an introvert and being married to me.
Well, part of my training comes from working for Costco for almost 22 years. So I'm in front of people all day long, and I have to talk to people. I can't just not talk to them. So, and I'm in front of all kinds of different personalities and things of the like. But I am completely in agreement with Brooke. There are times I just need to be by myself. So I have to take a few minutes to just kind of, chill for a minute so I can go back out and talk to people. I totally agree with that. I don't know. I've never had my amount of being an introvert measured, so I don't know what percentage I am, but I feel like I can fake it most of the time. Just being in front of people all the time. So I just, I talk to people whether I want to or not, but I still have to have that time to recharge, just like Brooke was talking about. And how is it being married to Evan? It's, I'm used to it by now. He talks over me. He tries to not talk over me most of the time. He's gotten a lot better at that. Sometimes I have to kind of say, you know what, you need to stop.
Just a little tidbit to add to that. If you are introverted and you don't want to really talk a ton, hang out with an extrovert, because at the conversations, you can just listen in and just be there and be a part. My mom's very extroverted, so I join a lot of her conversations and I get a lot of the nuggets without having to be the one to start them in that. So it's a good pair, the introvert extrovert pair. You two go well together.
It seems to work.
One of the things that has come up quite a bit in this conversation, I'm going to leave this one to you, Rachael, because you haven't spoken for a few minutes, so I'm going to throw it your way. One of the things that seems to cause a lot of anxiety for people coming to convention are the pre-convention training events. So on this panel, 3 of you are presenters at pre-convention training events. And it comes up quite a bit as people start asking, I don't know what one I should go to. I don't know how I should, because other than reading the websites or the Eventbrite link, I don't know what value I'm going to get. How would you suggest somebody research these different overlapping training events to determine what's right for them and their business and their situation?
I think at first you have to determine whether or not you're a builder or whether you're just going to convention to learn about product and just to be able to experience convention. So first of all, you have to kind of separate yourself. Are you a bona fide builder? You're really wanting to grow your business, or are you just going to for the whole hoopla of the whole thing and the 10-year anniversary and all of that? And if the former is you, if you're wanting to grow your business, then I encourage everyone, go to a pre-convention training. It doesn't really matter which one it is. I think they're all going to be really, really good. And once, and the reason for that is because if you go to a pre-convention training, that's the only business training you're going to get at convention. That's it. Because convention itself is going to be new product. It's going to be science. It's going to be sourcing. It's going to be Emily Wright sharing, about some of the co-impact sourcing and what's going on around the world. It's going to be about where the future is with Doterra, where we're headed, but you're not going to get any business training at all. So if you're looking for business, if you are a business builder, you really need to attend one of the business trainings. There's really a variety of what's available. So I think really looking into the description, follow the people on their pages, and check them out on Instagram, check them out on Twitter or whatever, see what they're about. Because, you know, like what ours is more geared towards Bible. If you're not a Christian, you're probably not going to enjoy my event, you know. But if you're really, if you love what Lisa Zimmer teaches about doing make and takes and how she grew her team and how the following that she has created and how well that's working for her and how well it's working for so many people on my team. Thank you, Lisa. then that's where you need to go. You know, Neal's doing one for moms. And so if you identify with, you know, you're a mom and you're trying to do this as a business, and maybe you've got little kids, or maybe you've got grown kids, or maybe you're a single mom, and whatever that looks like, if that's where you fit, that's where you need to go. And so just do your homework and really look into what's available. And I don't think you can really mess it up. I've never, ever heard somebody say, I went to this pre-convention training and it stunk. I've never heard that. So I think the people who are teaching it for a reason, and they're gifted at what they've done. And so they're just sharing that information and knowledge with you.
Any additions to that? Yeah, Lisa.
I have a tip. If there are pre-convention events, then they're pretty much worthy, because it's a lot of work I didn't put on the event that I'm at, but it's a lot of work and expense for those people to put on those events. So find the list of who they are, whichever one you pick, keep that list and go find those people after convention, because they're worthy of investigating what they're doing, whether it's Oils of the Bible or the, there's an emotional one that I love and I just lost her name. I Am Fabulous, you know, all these people that are doing these events are doing them for a reason. So find them afterwards, because they have Facebook groups, they have Instagram, and learn from them, even if you can't go to the event, the pre-convention event, because they're all going to be worthy of learning from.
Neal, anything you want to add? I didn't throw it to Brooke because you guys are all a part of some of these trainings.
Yeah, I think the thing too, to the person that's not going, it's okay. You know, we have these because, as Rachael said, there really isn't kind of a coming together of the minds for people that are, you know, that are building a business, that are going for it, that want to go ahead and do that. But we don't want, and this, again, it's probably not a great way to promote. I know my event is, you know, I tell people, if you don't go, you're still going to have a great convention. Like, you're still going to be successful. You'll still do really well. And, you know, the thing I don't want people to do is sort of have this fear of missing out, where it ends up creating anxious feelings, right? Anxiety. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't go to this training, or I didn't go to I'm not going to be successful. And this is such an easy thing. Go talk to somebody about something you're already using, see if they want to use it, and see if they want to do what you do to make more money. Like, that's it. Like, it really comes down more to that. So I hate people to feel bad because either they can't get there, they're working, and they can't fly out then, or they just get so overwhelmed. Brooke, I'm sure that, you know, convention is great, but if you have to go to 17 other events and then a team party and then it doesn't matter whether you're introvert or extrovert, it's a long week without, you know, trainings anyway. So, you know, I think the other thing too is, you know, I always encourage people, take that time if you feel you need it and hang out with your team, right? Like, go to Park City, like, do something fun as well, because that could be some training too. Some of the best training is also building relationships and hanging out. And we have people that are leaving like today, and they're going out there and they're hanging out and going to Park City and doing different things. And then also the other thing is that the people that are doing the trainings are probably having some other times when they may be doing it as well, if you didn't get to do it this time, or they're sold out. Like Empowered Success is sold out. And I know some of the trainings like ours happened because we were like, well, people needed something to do, but it's not, you know, it's not something where you should feel bad if you're not doing it. So
So I want to thank you guys, all of you, on that, because I want to take the other side of this a little bit. And I want to throw this to you, Brooke, because I know you are quite involved in the trainings that your mom does, the regional trainings, and, you know, traveling around the country and in different parts of the country. And I'm sure you guys all, you know, Neal, Rachael, and Lisa, you guys do this too. How impactful outside of convention for people who can't make it in time for these trainings or feel too overwhelmed to go to these trainings, how impactful in their business or how impactful personally would it be for them to then consider doing and visiting regional events, something within 50 or 100 miles of their home that might be conceivable for them to get to, that are put on by their diamond leaders?
I think they are extremely powerful. I love these pre-convention events. I love convention, I love all these things. If you can't go, if it's too much, that's the thing, is what I tell people is, it's one thing to sign up for the event and to go to all these things, but you have to be there listening and open and like ready. And there does reach a point where people are like overwhelmed and overloaded. So if that's going to be the case for some people, if you're not going to get anything out of it, then do something else. Like Neal said, hang out with your team, do something different. If you know, like, it's a lot and I can't sit there and I'm not going to be absorbing, I'm going to be thinking about other things, or it's just too much for me. For people who, you know, for people who feel that way, definitely make it a priority to go if it's offered at a different time, or anything else Doterra offers. The fall tour after convention, I always go. I find the one that's closest to me. I find other ones. Hearing the information once is awesome. Hearing it multiple times, you actually start to retain it. If you aren't able to go, I would stress, find one close to you and go. Get this information, connect with the people, because people are going to be going to these. If you can't go to convention, if you can't go to these beginning events, go to what you can. Make it happen. I think they're so impactful. They're so powerful. The information, connecting with people in an area that's close to you is great too. I'm in Nashville. I love going to Nashville trainings. I've started to connect with leaders out in the area that aren't on my team, that aren't even cross-line. They're completely different teams, but they live here. And to kind of build that network, that who's around you, who's close to you, that's powerful. Whether I went to convention or not, that in itself is powerful. So I encourage people, if there are trainings that you can get to or are near you and it's possible to get there, do it, because you're going to get stuff out of it. You're going to start to build that network. You're going to make those connections, and you're going to become of this part of that community for Doterra in your area, which is really powerful and not something you can, it's not something you can duplicate, right? You have to put yourself out there and get in it to be a part of it, to be a part of it. So I think get there. I encourage you.
Jen, you had a question you wanted to ask.
Just to kind of have them, our panel address this, since they're doing the live streaming again this year. And it's great for people that cannot make it. I understand that there's a lot of people that can't make it for one reason or another. What do you all feel are the advantages or disadvantages of watching the live stream?
You have to pick somebody.
I don't think there's
Let me pick. Brooke just talked. Let me pick Rachael.
I just said, I don't think there's any disadvantage to getting it. First of all, you can write it off. So make sure you keep your receipt for that, and get all the training you can get. And I just think it's really important. There's no disadvantage at all to getting. In fact, I feel like people who go to convention, it really behooves them to go ahead and buy it as well. So when you come back, you can really sit down and take notes, rewind, watch that part again, because we're going to be really overwhelmed ourselves. You know, it doesn't matter what rank you are when you go to convention, there still is an overload point. And so I'm always amazed that when I do come back from convention and people are sharing things that they learned, I'm like, when did they say that? Because I missed it. So it's a good thing.
Okay. Lisa?
Yeah, it's fantastic. What I love too is there's so many times that you're going to leave sessions and you don't want to leave, but you have to go get something to eat because you can't wait anymore, or restroom break, or oh my gosh, there's a short line at the swag store, so you better go now. That's really what it is. We all know. And you're going to miss something good. And like Rachael said, there have been so many times where we come back and people are posting. I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about. And I wish I had that live stream to watch back when I got home. Plus, especially for my team, because, so much of my team can't come. It's not in their budget yet. We're a smaller diamond team, and it's just not something they can fit into their budget. And I want them to get as much of that experience as they can, so that when we come back too, it's not all on me to be the sharer of the information. I'd love for them to get it firsthand and get the feels that we all get when Emily Wright shares her stories, or when a farmer, comes up on stage and a grown man is up there crying and thanking doTERRA and blessing everyone because we've saved his family or his village, or you know what I mean? Like, I can't share that story and provide that same impact. So live stream for sure.
Okay. I want to add to that as well. One thing that we've learned, and now this is going to be our third convention. And one thing that we learned in the first two was stop trying to take notes. I said this in our first Facebook Live on this page: stop taking notes. And honestly, stop taking pictures. Because if you get the live stream, you can stop the screen and you can screenshot all of the slides and not have to worry about filling up your phone with a bunch of pictures. But most importantly, and you guys kind of touched on it, if you stop taking notes, you're able to be present for the information. You will absorb more, and you won't be turning to your neighbors sitting in session saying, what did he just say? What did she just say? Oh, I missed that. Where did we get that oil? What does it do? And you saw that last year with Copaiba. Like, everybody wanted to jot down every single word that was being said. And by having the live stream, we get to take notes at our leisure. So I just wanted to throw that in there for you guys as well. Yeah, you're getting a notebook. Yeah, you're getting a pen. Leave them wrapped and put them in your, and leave them in your book, in your backpack, because you won't need them if you stay present.
I started laughing when you said that, because my job on the flight out there is to clean off the 7,000 pictures on my phone. And my husband made me promise to take no pictures of slides and to delete the ones from leadership and convention last year from my phone. So as soon as you said that, I started busting up laughing.
Well, and of course, the recommendation to not take notes applies to everybody except Dr. Rosno, because Dr. Eve Rosno has some of the most amazing convention notes, and she will share them with us on this page. So just, we'll put that out there too. Dr. Eve, ignore that mandate. So my next question for you guys, and let's see, who should I throw this at? I'm gonna put Lisa on the spot for this one. And we're gonna round robin this, because I'm sure every one of you has an opinion on this one. I know Neal does, because we've talked about it. I think I've talked about it to each of you. The person who's watching this, who is afraid to go to convention because they don't feel worthy because they missed their rank goal, or they're not achieving ranks as fast as they expected, they're not as successful in their eyes of doTERRA because they haven't reached their expected rank, or they've been stuck for the last 2 years at the same rank, and now they feel like going to conventions not serving them any purpose because they're not growing. How would you address our friends that might be feeling that way?
That's a good one. That's a hard one. So
I didn't say they'd all be easy.
Yeah, that is a good one. So that's something I'm super passionate about and try to talk about when I make my videos, is to not focus your business on finances, rank, the comparison game, but to remember why you really do doTERRA. Because so few people start doTERRA to make money. It really is. It's statistically. If you just stop and ask the person next to you, like for introverts, a great segue to strangers is, tell me your story. Tell me your doTERRA story. And then they'll do all the talking, right? Because you're going to find not one person's story is going to be, I came here to make more money. I came here to be diamond. It's very, I mean, if you are, I'd be surprised. There's so very few. And so this is your place where you really do belong, because everyone is there for the feels good, to remember why they started doing doTERRA to begin with. It's not leadership where we're talking about how to rank up next. It's about why we all love co-impact sourcing and how doTERRA is changing the world. This is the place that you really do belong and fit in no matter what your rank is, this is where we all go. So this time of year, we all get tired, burnt out. We've lost our joy a little bit this summer. You know, we don't accomplish what we hope we will accomplish in the summer because things slow down. It's back to school, so we don't do as many classes because we're all busy. This is where we all need to go to get the life breathed back into us. So this is where you need to be, 100%.
Anyone else want to add? Yes, Brooke.
I'll add, I think what you said about comparison's a huge thing, because it's, you haven't ranked fast enough, you're not where you should be, compared to what? Compared to who? Because that's really what it comes down to, is people see other people's stories. Oh, they went this fast, they did this. And it's like, everyone has their own journey and their own story. I built fast because I'm single, I have no kids, I had no lease. I literally drove the country in my little car for a year and a half building the business. I had nothing else to do. You know, people have other things. So it's you don't know their story, but it's comparison. It's such a thief and it steals so much. So I would just say, don't let that steal this experience from you, because convention is an experience like anything other. You can't duplicate it. You're going to go. If you don't go, how are you expecting to grow your business if you're like, oh, I haven't hit this rank, I haven't grown, I'm just not going to go. This is where you need to go to get re-inspired, because this is the inspiration. This is where you walk away and you realize this is bigger than me. This is bigger than my rank. This is bigger than the money, just like she was saying. I'll never forget when Operation Underground Railroad spoke at convention. Was it 2 years ago? I have never in my life felt like this is what I'm supposed to do in that moment, because you realize it's like you're so little in it, and that's why I think a lot of us need to be brought back to, why do we do this? Because we're tired and we're introverted and this is hard for us. And there's a lot of things stopping it, but you need to be there. You need to get your butt in that seat. You need to remember what doTERRA stands for, what we all stand for, and you need to not let comparison steal everything from you, because it can steal so much. So that's my encouragement, is don't worry about all that. All that will come and you're going to get there if you don't give up. And I think giving up on convention is a big mistake. You need to be there. You need to get that inspiration.
Neal, I want to go to you with the same question, because you and I think, have had this conversation 2 or 3 times in different chats that we've had about the same topic.
Yeah. So
I love some of your insights on this.
Come here. So here, maybe this will be easy to do here. Okay. So this right here is Maggie, and she's like about 17 weeks old. And the thing is that if you think of the dog test, and if I were to bring her up to anybody at convention, her reaction between double, quadruple, ninja presidential, king of the world rank versus somebody who is like, where am I? Like, they don't even know they're at convention, right? Because they're so new. And Maggie's going to do the exact same thing. And I believe that everybody, you're going back down here. Everybody has, everybody has a story, and everybody's journey, whether that's just sharing, with your neighbor, and then you're there just for the education, or you're building trying to build a big business, is that there's certain people that can only be helped by you if you're yourself. And the other thing that can happen is you try to think that you have to be like somebody else, and you get caught up in the name badge game, and you lose sight of what can happen. And it can happen very easily with lower ranks, because I've had people that, you know, would not want to come up to me because they think just because of a rank or something that, you know, are not approachable or whatever. And to those that are out there, I hope you'd realize that, you know, I know a lot of the diamonds and above, and I don't know any of them that, maybe this sounds bad, but they'd rather hang out with you than hang out with me and hang out with other diamonds. Like, they want that, because that's why we do this, is to help other people. And, you know, everybody's journey is different. You know, you look at somebody and they go, I hit a diamond in 3 minutes, you know, and it's like, okay, great. But that's not what it's about. You can't put your self-esteem in your rank. You have to put your self-esteem in your work habits, your schedule, your activity, and how well you serve people, which is totally controllable for everybody. You know, and I'll leave you with this story on this question, because, you know, I saw there was a story about a mom who was sitting in a car, and this wellness advocate came out of this store and saw this mom just totally lose it in the car. Like, she's crying uncontrollably in the car. So faced with that, kind of, you know, knocked on the window and, you know, rolled the window down. Well, found out that this person had just lost a parent. I think just kind of sort of found out in that moment. And this person, you know, shared some balance and serenity, you know, and prayed with this person and gave him a hug and those types of things. Well, here's the thing, and this is the bottom line, is that Wednesday night in gala, they don't recognize that. And you need to remember that. That's not what they recognize. There are so many stories out there that go untold and unrecognized. And no story is any less important than any of the other ones. And just because you may wear a rank or you may not wear a rank doesn't mean that you're not helping people, and doesn't mean that you don't have the ability in 5 seconds to change somebody's life when you walk out of a grocery store and there was nobody around in that moment for them to share when a parent, you know, is no longer around. And I, you know, I think of that story and I'm like, you know, I just wish that, you know, that Doterra would have, you know, more awards than just the rank for that night. You know, just like, how about some, you know, the cool story or the, you know, and I know that's not how the recognition works, but, you know, hopefully leaders that are listening are able to recognize and share some of those awesome stories, because that's what carries you through when it sucks. That's what carries it through when you want to quit, or when you're like, it's not worth it. And your spouse is saying, why are you still doing this? You know, you're not making any money. Or why are you flying all the way to convention? You know, you're not even doing the business. And it's like, because I still educate people and I still have some people that I help. And I learn things that help us take care of our family, and you're making a difference. All your family, your kids, your relatives, even the ones that think you're crazy, you're changing the way they think about health forever, for generations. My kids don't even know what anything but this stuff. They all have their own oils. It's all they've ever used. My kids have never been to a doctor for a sick visit, like, knock on wood, stitches and glue, of course. But, you know, is there a rank for that? That's what's cool about what we do. And if you think about it in that way, you're walking around going, it really doesn't matter. Who's the next person I can help? Who's next? There you go.
Always who's next.
That's it. The answer lies behind the next door. That's it.
So let's, I don't want to ever focus on negatives, but are there any pitfalls to going to convention? Are there any, and this I'm going to throw to any of you guys who want to raise your hand and volunteer and answer. But we talk about the successes. We talk about team building. We talk about the exposure to Doterra. Are there any pitfalls, downsides to attending convention?
Go, Brooke.
I was just going to say it's an investment, obviously, but it's kind of the mindset you go to it with. If your mindset is, wow, this is really expensive, I'm taking time off work, I could be doing this, and you're sitting there, it doesn't seem like you're really receptive to get anything out of it. You know, it's kind of like you've already made up your mind. So it's an investment. Absolutely. It's an investment of time. It's an investment of money, emotions, energy. It's a big investment. It's worth it if you're willing to put that in and you're willing to come and be open and receptive and you're ready, you're hungry, you want it. But if you're not, then I don't know what if you're going to get out of it, if it's going to be worth it to you. If you're coming in and you already have this kind of feel like it's a waste and that's your mindset. I'm not saying it can't change your mind, because I think it can. I think people can come in and be like, oh, this is a big waste. Why am I here? And leave being like, I am so glad I went. So I think I don't see a downside. It is a big investment. And I do want to acknowledge that, because I think I commend people who get there, every rank, especially the baby ranks, like the lower, younger, getting started ranks, who make that investment of finances and time to get there, who get out of their comfort zone to show up. I think that's so commendable, and it shows you, who's serious about this. And, it makes me want to spend so much more time with them because they're serious about this and they're ready to go. I want to partner with people like that. So I don't see a downfall with it, but I do acknowledge it's a huge investment. Mm-hmm.
Neal, you had something you wanted to?
Yeah, just saying that it can be, the negative can be going to convention and then not having a plan before you go to leverage the momentum. We just did a Facebook Live about setting up your calendar for when you get back. I mean, and so you have something. So when you're in the middle of a presentation on a new product, and you can text or even call whichever somebody that pops in your mind or on your list, and you're like, hey, Brooke, we need to go ahead and meet. Let's do a one-on-one. Or, hey, I'm having a workshop at my house. Like, I got to share this stuff with you. I know this was something that was going to help benefit X, Y, and Z. Instead of what people do is they'll go and then they feel like they need a break for a couple weeks because it was so exhausting to go to convention. The reason that companies do national sales meetings, and that's really what this is, right? In network marketing, you call it a convention. In the corporate world, we call it a national meeting, national sales meeting. And what it's designed to do is get you all fired up so you hit the ground running when you get back. And every time I went to them, you're hammering the phones, you're setting appointments. Like, that's the enthusiasm that you want to have. So that, the negative would be investing all this money, and then you lose all the momentum when you come back, and you're not where you could be. And all these people that could have been helped aren't helped because you felt like you kind of needed a break. So we still have, a few days here before people go. And I think, how you turn that into a big positive is figure out how many people you need to teach to pay for convention. So you come back and go, you know what, I paid for it. It's already paid for. I mean, Natural Solutions Kit is what you should be selling as the trio kit, the bare minimum, right? That's $80 commission if you don't add on a bunch of supplements and other stuff. $80. Okay, so maybe that's how many do you have to have purchase to go ahead and cover your expenses? So anyway, but the only negative is if you know you should go and you don't, or you're offered a ticket for next year and you don't buy it right when you're there. That's the best decision you can make. Just go ahead and buy it and get it out of the way. You get the cheapest price and you're going, and then make the commitment to do the activity.
Lisa, I know you had your hand up.
No, I didn't. No,
Oh,
I don't
okay,
have
then.
any negatives for convention whatsoever. I couldn't think of that's probably positive in me, I guess.
Rachel, did you have any that came to mind? Jen, what do you think?
Negatives? I don't.
Any pitfalls that you can think of?
Well, no.
Any pitfalls? So yeah, I can't say it any better. Yeah.
No, I mean, pitfalls, no. It's just, yes, it's difficult when, you're not making a whole lot of money, but your commitment to be there is so important. I mean, my feeling is you have to try to find a way to get there if you can. Anything you can do to get there, get there.
And I love what you guys said.
Here's one that could is more of a little tip, right? To keep it all awesome is make sure if you're on the East Coast that you don't stay up really, really late, because what will happen is that you'll get on that Salt Lake time, and even that 2 hours, and then you're there for like 5-6 days. So just be mindful of that. Have a great time and do all that. But I know that, that's why people can come back, especially the East Coast, and you feel like you need a break. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Make sure you get the sleep so you can have an awesome time, and then not just be dead tired when you get back. Oh my gosh. Especially if you have kids that you have to get to school when you get back. That's usually our thing, right? Because we want to hang out with everybody and all these cross-line friends, and you get done with your team, and then you go hang out with some other people, and you're going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, Salt Lake time and stuff.
So I'm going to ask one more question, but as I do this, because I want to be conscious of your time. And I told you I wanted to keep this between 60 and 90 minutes. And again, if any of you guys need to skate out a little early, totally understand. But for those of you who are watching, and if you have more questions that I haven't asked, go ahead and type them in the chat. It's going to take about 8 to 12 seconds for us to actually see your question. So in the meantime, I want to ask you guys, and I'm going to go around the horn. So we're going to go Brooke, Lisa, Rachel, and then Neal. Give me one piece of advice that you would give your team about how to make convention successful for you or for them. What one or two pieces of advice would you give so they can get the most out of convention and come back successful?
I think a big thing, and you guys have experienced this in our team, is crossline. I love my team. I love everyone on it. I love my crossline team, and I think they have such great input and insight and different ways to look at things, different ideas, different ways they go about. And I think connecting with other leaders, whether it's crossline or just other teams, is so powerful, because we kind of think this is just how everyone does it. This is how it's done, but when you connect with someone else, they can have these fresh ideas, which can completely change your business. So I think not just connecting with the people you already do on a regular basis and getting to see them face to face, because that's powerful, but connecting with, making a point to go to other leaders, to go to other teams and connecting with, maybe make a list of maybe top 5 people who you have seen or admire in certain areas, and make a point to connect with them. I love connecting with people. I love when people seek me out. I love to seek out people too. I know the introvert, but still I do, because it's like you see people who thrive in certain areas and you're like, oh my goodness, right? They're rock stars in those areas. And it's like, that's an area you struggle in. Go and connect with them, because they're going to have some great insight and input. And so I think that's huge, is just cross-line masterminding, networking, making time to do that.
Lisa?
That was mine, Brooke.
Sorry.
So I'm teasing. I do want to expand on that a little bit, because that is my favorite topic right now. So one thing I teach everyone to do in the business is to not be 1-800. I have a question, Lisa. Being the leader of a team without being a 1-800 number. And so we do a really great job of that with our customers, right? If someone calls and says, hey, what do I do for this? Oh, excellent. Grab your book or grab your app and I'll show you how to use that, right? That's the answer. Well, the pitfall we have in the business is we don't do that in our business. We try to be the oils of the Bible expert, the enroll the natural solutions kit expert, and we try to be everything for our team. And this is the place to find all those people. So regardless of what rank you are, go find all these people, make friends with them, and start referring to them, so that you're not the burnt out builder trying to be everybody's everything. And so I've started working on a video series of this. It's Build Your Expert Network. So now when people want to learn how to enroll with the Natural Solutions Kit better, it's not me, because I'm terrible at that. It's Neal Anderson. If I have a new builder who wants to master oils of the Bible, now I just met Rachael, thank goodness, right? And I'm going to send them to Rachel's materials. And I want my team to do the same thing, so they don't get to Diamond like I did and go, wow, that was way too hard. And I don't know how I'm going to sustain this for the next 20 years because I'm exhausted being everybody's everything. And this is your best resource. Everybody's here. Start finding your expert network so that they don't repeat what I repeated, which is burnout.
Take it from Lisa because she's the queen of duplication, of easy duplication. So, Rachel, your thoughts?
I agree with her, especially on that. We are better together. And if we, even as leaders, get to know each other and can really partner together, it only helps all of our teams. So it's a common effort that helps us all. And I think the only thing that, because again, Brooke took mine and then Lisa added to it. So I'm like, okay, what's left? Really, I have to just emphasize, cultivate and foster cross-line friendships. Take business cards, meet people, don't be afraid, ask them, can I friend you on Facebook, follow them. I still have friends that I'm very, very close to that I met at convention when I was silver and at leadership. And I look for them and, I cheer louder at gala for them because these are just people that I just met them, at convention. I met Neal at convention. That's how I found him. So it's really important to do that. But the only other thing I would add is come with a lot of patience. You will have to exercise patience at convention. There are going to be long lines. It's going to be hot. And then it's going to be cold at night because you're in the desert. And you're not going to be able to sit with your whole team, probably. Don't be mad at if your diamond or blue diamond or presidential upline is sitting in the diamond, blue diamond, and presidential upline section because that's where they're designated to sit. And if all of the leaders were sitting with their teams, there wouldn't be enough room because somebody has to sit down in those seats. So they do it that way for a reason. And so just come with patience and know that you may or may not be able to sit with your team. You may or may not be able to meet for lunch. You may have to eat on the sidewalk. You may have to eat a Lara bar for lunch because it's really, you just have to prepare, and just go with patience, laugh at yourself, laugh at the circumstances because there's nothing you can do about it except just enjoy it.
Neal?
That's all great. I love it. It's just cool to learn again and remember some things that you may have not thought about in a while. I have a dog just chewing my hand here. It thinks it's a chew toy.
That's okay. I've got a cat who's humming her way into wanting us to feed her because we're a half hour late on that.
Right, of course, right.
That's what sounds like a baby in the background in our house.
Right. I would say, so what was the question again? Specific
one piece of advice to drive success with somebody on your team. Somebody who says, I don't know, I want to go to convention, but how is it going to help me be successful?
Oh, how's it going to be successful? Well, you just have to make a commitment that you're going to do your best and you're going to build a business if that's what you're doing. And I think the majority of people that go, everybody on our team that's going is going because they're building a business. Right. There may be some, outliers out there or people that go and, but there's people that say they're building the business that aren't. And they're, so, I would say, you've got 3 days to decide what you want to do. Seriously. And I think, there's, you have gala on Wednesday night, whether you go to that or not. You have Thursday, which will be kicked off with Dave Sterling with an awesome talk. There's going to be new product, all that stuff. And, whoever this speaker is, and I don't think it matters, right? Because there's nobody bigger than you out talking to people. The best motivational speaker that they could get is you going out and talking to people about how to get this in their home. That's the best motivational speech, okay? But it's designed so when you leave, you're on fire. You're going to be in a situation where you're like, I believe in the company. These products are great. This makes total sense. I got my convention kit. This is awesome. And you need, before you get on the plane, you need to make a decision of what you're going to do for the next 6 months. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen in 9 months, a year, or whatever, but 6 months. What are you going to do for 180 days to do your absolute dead level best? That's what you need to figure out. If you figured out that, hey, you know what? It's not the season of time where I can go and do this full time or do it half time or whichever, but whatever it is that you have to have a plan and you have to commit. There's plenty of downtime that you're going to have there to doodle, and there'll be a speaker that you're like, okay, this is not for me, and it's okay, but but you need to come out of there with a plan. And then step 2 is you need to find somebody that you can share that with that will call you up and hold you accountable to doing that because you said you would. Okay.
Yep.
I think that's how you get the most out of it. Cause I'm telling you, this is the easiest job in the world. You talk to people about what we're doing, find out if they want to buy it, and find out if they want to sell it. That's it. If they want to sell it and have goof off and have fun and go, I don't even know what day it is, and I don't know what am I going to work today, or am I not going to work today, or am I going to go here, am I going to go there, right? Like, oh, I want to go snowmobiling, so let's get a team in New York where there's no, if you want that and you truly want it, you're going to have to take the first step, and that's make a decision and then tell somebody else what your plan is, and then make it happen.
So Jen, how about with you? I want to throw this at you then, the same type of question with a little bit, altered a little bit. For somebody like us who has not hit the ranks of perceived success, and yet we're still going to convention, how does going to convention drive your desire for success, your desire to expand the business? What does convention do for you?
What doesn't it do? I mean, there's so much good in Doterra, and there's so many, like Brooke was bringing up with Operation Underground Railroad, with Healing Hands, with Days for Girls, all these great things that Doterra does. How can you not? I mean, there's so much that we do as wellness advocates to help other people every day. Even when I'm at work, I still, try to talk to people about oils. It's hard sometimes, but I genuinely feel for people because I know that I can help them. So going to convention is just beyond inspirational, and it reminds you of why you do what you do. So it's definitely something that everybody needs to experience.
I had to mute because the door's open where Jen's at, and I didn't want it to echo.
Yes, I had cats yelling at me, so they wanted to come in the door and yell at me.
So believe it or not, I think we've managed to cover everything that people wanted to know because nobody's thrown out any real questions, which is kind of shocking to me. So I want to throw this at you guys as one final question. When should people start budgeting for next year?
You really need to do it now, because the best investment you can make after having gone to convention is to buy next year's convention ticket. It's going to be the least expensive. I mean, generally, haven't we seen it like $125? But then, I mean, and that lasts like a week. And then right after that, it's $169 right off the bat. And then if you have to transfer a ticket, it's another $25 on that. So if you can do it now, try to set that aside, because in the long run, that's going to save you.
And get creative. I didn't intend to plug something I do, but just last year, to give people an idea, we got back from convention and I had such a profound experience with Copaiba, and it wasn't coming out until October 1st for everybody to get it. So I just had an impromptu make and take at my house and said, y'all got to have it. And there were some crazy good videos that were going kind of viral that people had good experiences. And I said, come on over, guys. We can't wait. You got to get it now. You got to try it now. $5. I didn't intentionally do it to make money as a diamond. I didn't need $5, but people got to pay for stuff to get perceived value. I made enough money to pay for both convention kits. Like, get creative, right? And so by the time that it did come out, and Doterra surprised us and released it early, we had our biggest month ever. And all we did was just try to help people. So get creative. There's so many ways to make money in Doterra and be your budget and fund these events.
Brooke, any thoughts?
No, I think you guys, you and Jennifer, offer such great tips on this page. So obviously everyone who's watching this is a part of the page, but I would tell them to start taking notes to some of you guys' tips, because you have great tips as far as budgeting, gift cards. I've hopped on some of your videos, and you have really good ideas on how to start setting aside those funds. Because what you talk about is a big investment, but if you can start now and start saving and start doing some of those little things, by the time it gets to convention, you're going to be good to go, right? And you're going to be able to go and enjoy and not have to be stressed necessarily about the money because you were smart. And so if it's a priority, you'll make it a priority when it comes to setting things aside, to budgeting, to doing those things. You can make it happen. So I think being a part of your page, having people to go back and maybe watch some of those videos, jump on, read some of those tips that you guys have provided throughout the year. And I want to say thank you for offering support, because you support my team, so many others' teams with this page. And I mean, it's a big support, a big help. So thank you guys for what you do for everyone's teams.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
We're happy to do it. It brings a tear to our eyes every time we look at the number of people that are in this group. Considering 2 years ago, it was designed as just a page for our friends to make an intention that they were going to be arriving at convention next year. And what it's turned into in only 2 years is mind-boggling to me. We are so honored that people have put their trust in us, and that you guys have likewise done the same, Neal included. Budgeting tip from me that I've mentioned before. Number one, open a new bank account and get a debit card specifically for Doterra convention. By the way, that's what you just heard is the cat yelling at Jennifer. So get a separate bank account with a debit card for convention, and you can make deposits to that dedicated account throughout the year. By the time convention rolls around, there's your money for convention. Prepay for your ticket, as everybody has mentioned, at the $125 level. Get your hotel room or your Airbnb available as soon as they go on sale. Remember, when tickets launch for convention to the public, the website is going to crash. There's just no way around it. There is not a website anywhere on this planet that is going to be able to maintain that bandwidth. It's going to crash. Just be prepared. So anything you can do in advance will get you there faster. Take your fast start bonuses and use your fast start bonus and split that in half. Use half of your fast start bonus towards purchasing your oils, but the other half in your convention fund. That's another way to budget your way towards convention. So as you reach July, which is always a BOGO month, you're not freaking out because you're spending all of your convention money. As you get to September and you start looking at all of the convention training and then the rental car or the food and everything else that you're going to spend in September, and then you roll into October with whatever promo Doterra runs, and then BOGO week in November, and then a 200-point month for free frankincense in December, you're not off the rails because you've drained your bank account for convention. So those are my personal tips for you guys. The more you can plan in advance, the better the last 5 months of the year will be for you. So I want to end this. I want to let you ladies leave. And I know Jen was never intending to be on this long as well. My final thoughts, besides my thank you to each and every one of you, please check out Rachael Carter's Oils of the Bible, her series, her information. She has a bundle available for $99 that she is going to be selling that includes all of her materials that she's doing with this pre-convention training, including the handouts. And I'm not letting the cat out of the bag because she did this on our video before, but after convention, she's looking into doing a video series. So if you start following Rachael now, you'll start to get involved with that when she launches it. I really don't have to promote Lisa because every one of you here knows Lisa. But if you don't, for some odd reason, do not know Lisa Zimmer, familiarize yourself with her tools and her tips. I can honestly say that I'm not as well versed in all of the stuff that Lisa has provided for us, and that's my intention for the next year, is to become more involved in the tools and tips that Lisa offers. She doesn't need the residual income as a diamond for all of what she does for us, but all of the money that she makes is feeding her time into the creation process of what she builds and of what she creates. And she is developing diamonds on teams all over the world based on the easy duplication of the tools she provides. Brooke, I would love to promote something for you, but I can't, because there's nothing in my list that tells me that you've got anything that people can jump into yet. And then of course there's Neal. Neal Anderson, Being the Starfish. If you have not read the book, I'll put a link on here where you can get it on Amazon. And if you have not yet followed Neal and his Starfish training, please make sure you check that out. It's the least we can do to thank our diamonds for being here. So ladies, thank you so much. Neal, in your absence, thank you. Be safe. And of course, thank you to all of our convention group members who have joined us to ask questions and to be a part of this community. And so thank you all.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Guys, have a great night. As always, we will continue with hints and tips as we lead up to convention. Jennifer and I will be landing on Sunday, and we plan on wandering through Salt Palace. And if we can get over to Vivint, we'll do that. And we'll do a couple of Facebook Lives to give you a preview of what the venue space is going to look like. Until then, post your comments, post your questions. We love hearing from you, and we will see you shortly. Have a great night.
Thank you.